welcome back to Reading the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad, and on this episode, we'll be exploring number 17 from AFI's 100 Years, 100 Passions, the 100 Greatest Love Stories of All Time.
All right, number 17 is Moonstruck, released in 1987, directed by Norman Jewison, starring Cher and Nicolas Cage.
The synopsis for this romantic dramedy is as follows. 37-year-old Loretta Castorini, played by Cher, an Italian-American widow who works as a bookkeeper and lives in Brooklyn Heights with her mother, father, and paternal grandmother. Her boyfriend, Johnny Cammareri, proposes before leaving for Sicily to be with his dying mother. Loretta is insistent they carefully follow tradition as she believes her first marriage was cursed by failure to do so, and her husband died 2 years later. Before leaving, Johnny asks Loretta to invite his estranged younger brother, Ronnie, played by Nicolas Cage, to the wedding. Loretta returns home to announce the engagement. Her father, Cosmo, dislikes Johnny and is reluctant to pay for a real wedding, while her mother, Rose, is pleased that Loretta likes but doesn't love Johnny because she believes that one can easily be hurt by a partner whom they love. When Loretta visits Ronnie at his bakery, he reveals he has a wooden prosthetic hand and blames Johnny for the loss of his hand, which resulted in his fiancée leaving him. Loretta insists they discuss things in his apartment where she cooks them a meal and both have several drinks. She tells him that she believes he is a wolf who cut off his own hand to escape the trap of a bad relationship. Ronnie reacts furiously and passionately, kissing Loretta and carrying her to bed. That evening, Uncle Raymond and Aunt Rita join Loretta's parents and grandfather for dinner and wonder where Loretta is. Raymond recalls a particularly bright moon like the one shining now, the night when Cosmo was courting Rose. The next morning, Loretta tells Ronnie they can never see each other again. Ronnie promises to never bother her again if she attends the opera with him. She goes to church to confess her infidelity, then impulsively goes to a hair salon and buys a glamorous gown and shoes at a boutique next door. Loretta is deeply moved by her first opera, La Boheme. As they leave, she spots her father with another woman and confronts him. As she is there with Ronnie, Cosmo suggests they agree they did not see each other at all. Loretta attempts to go home, but Ronnie desperately persuades her into another tryst. That same night, Rose dines alone at a restaurant and witnesses college professor Perry being dramatically dumped by a student. She invites him to dine with her, and he walks her home, but refuses to invite him in because she is loyal to her marriage. Later, Johnny shows up. His mother has had a miraculous recovery. As Loretta is not there, he and Rose chat. She asks him why men chase women, and he agrees with her that it is because they fear death. Returning home the next morning, Loretta is distressed to learn Johnny will be there soon. Ronnie arrives, and Rose invites him to breakfast over Loretta's objections. Rose confronts Cosmo about his infidelity and demands he end it. He is upset, but gives in and agrees to confession. Johnny arrives and ends the engagement, superstitiously believing marriage will cause his mother's death. Loretta berates him and returns the ring. Ronnie seizes the moment and proposes, asking his brother for the ring. Loretta accepts, and the whole family, including Johnny, toast the couple.
Okay. I love this movie.
This movie's great.
It's so good. It's really good.
So just for some background, both Jerry and I come from Italian-American households. So the family dynamics in this are really, really great. They're so over the top, but it's also really realistic. Like, they're so freaking dramatic. Like,
so dramatic.
Everyone in this movie is so dramatic.
Yeah, and I think for my side of the family, we're all super dramatic people. And, yeah, so I get it. And they yell at each other constantly, but they're not yelling, they're just talking.
That's the thing. Like, yeah, I'm sure it's true in other cultures too, but Italian Americans, you know, they tend to yell at each other when they're talking. Mm-hmm. They just get so passionate about the conversation. They're not yelling out of anger. They're just kind of
yelling.
Just it's a thing.
Yeah. The chemistry between Nicolas Cage and Cher is really good.
Nicolas Cage is at his most insanely batshit in this movie.
You know what, though? It works.
It so works.
It works. I'm sorry if I offend anyone here. I'm not a huge Nicolas Cage fan, but this is probably my favorite role he's in. Is this one.
My favorite role of his is probably Raising Arizona,
Okay.
But this is probably a close second.
Yeah, he's great in this. He's rugged. He's like totally the kind of guy that he's completely opposite of his brother, right?
Yeah.
So he's like dirty and sweaty and yelling and mad and angry.
Johnny is played by Danny Aiello, and he's a much more reserved character. He never raises his voice throughout the whole film, and in contrast to Ronnie, played by Nick Cage, he's over the top.
Yeah.
One of the things I hadn't really thought about until watching this movie again, and I really, really appreciate, because you don't see it very often, is you don't see the kind of age difference between a man and a woman. On the flip side, Cher is considerably older than Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
So in real life, Cher is almost 20 years older than Nicolas Cage. I don't know. We never really get a firm foundation on how old he is. So she is playing someone who's 37 years old. I think at the time she's 41 or 42. So
pretty close.
Pretty close. So even if Nicolas Cage is playing, he's like 23 at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I looked it up because I was curious. I'm like, Nicolas Cage.
Well, I think they're
right?
assuming that we're going to be thinking he's older.
Yeah. And say he's playing a few years older. Mm-hmm. Even if he's playing like almost 10 years older, she's still older than him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, even maturity wise, life everything about it, she has a maturity that he doesn't have. So,
but I think that's what works for her.
It's absolutely what works for her.
Yeah.
Is she needs someone who's passionate, but it's curious that you don't see it very often in movies. It's not even like, it doesn't even come up in the story that she's older than he is.
No.
I don't think it comes up once.
No, it doesn't. But then you have the other side where her father is having an affair with a younger woman, right? So, but yeah, she needs that. She's with Johnny. When she's with Johnny, they're equally
milquetoast.
Yeah, it's really boring.
Well, they're
not boring.
He is the steady Eddie choice.
Yes. He's the smart choice.
He's the smart choice. He is not going to complicate her life. It's just going to keep her from being lonely. Mm-hmm. He's stable. It'll be, she won't be living at home anymore. Yeah. It'll just
She's looking for stability. She wasn't.
This is not it is by no means a passionate relationship. Mm-mm. I mean, the whole proposal thing in the restaurant is hilarious.
Because she's like, you need to get in your knees.
Yeah. It's like, she's not excited about the prospect that he's doing it, but she's like, if you're going to do this, you're absolutely going to do it correctly.
Yes.
You're going to do this, this, and this. And she's like basically coaching him through it, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. And
on the flip side of that is, their very first meeting with Ronnie, they're at her.
He's in a basement.
Yeah.
In front of fire because he's baking bread.
In a wife beater.
Totally dirty. Yeah. And like he's, she comes in, she's like, hey, your brother wants you to come to our wedding. And he's like, he just goes off. And he's like,
I lost
my hand because of him. And is like going on this big thing. And it's so sad because this other girl that works with him is totally in love with him and she's crying as he's telling the story. And Loretta's like, what is happening, And so it's really good.
It is really good.
The issue I have a little bit with it is that it happens really quickly.
Well, I think that's on purpose. I think she has never. Yeah, I'm thinking even with her husband, this didn't happen. Where she has this instant attraction to him, and this guy, he's he's the wolf. Like
He's the wolf.
he's the wolf, like she says, and she wants the wolf.
She wants the wolf.
She does, and he kisses her pretty inappropriately, and then she backs away, and then she kisses him, and she wants it, and he carries her off the bed, and she doesn't have, she's like, okay, this is happening.
She's like, oh, okay. Right? And he's just like, fine.
Yeah.
And then he, the next time they have sex or afterwards, he's like, I think I'm in love with you.
And she's like,
and she slaps him.
She slaps him twice. I didn't.
And then, like snap out of it.
I never realized until I saw it this time. Yeah, because you just see the one slap whenever they show that scene, the snap out of it. You don't see the first slap. There's a slap and a pause, and then she slaps him again, then tells him to snap out.
And he's like, it doesn't even faze him.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
That she's just slapped him twice.
Yeah.
He's like, but I can't help it, And it's really good. It really holds up.
Yeah. Really great performances all around.
Oh, for sure. It's their friends Rose and the couple.
No, his mom's Rose.
No, what's the couple that she works for?
It's her aunt and uncle.
Her aunt and uncle, they're really sweet.
Yeah.
When the moon comes out and he's like, I'm looking at you and you look like you were when you were a teenager when I met you. And then he's like,
Yeah.
And it's just really sweet. It's really sweet. And then the grandfather with all the dogs.
Yeah. Cher won the Academy Award for this performance.
Yeah.
Olympia Dukakis was also nominated.
She was great.
So she beat out Olympia Dukakis. I think Olympia Dukakis was supporting.
I think so, yeah.
She didn't win, right?
No, I don't think so.
But Cher did win for Best Actress.
Yeah, everybody in this movie played a very intense role.
Yeah. Like
everybody was very intense.
Yeah. That honestly, my favorite scene in the movie is with Rose, Olympia Dukakis' character, and Perry, who's played by what's his name? The guy from plays Frasier's dad.
Oh, yeah.
John, what's his name? I'm blanking on his last name, but they have this moment, and it's just like you can kind of see it in her where she's like, I'm missing something in my own marriage right now, and this guy could be it. Strangely, even though this guy has been chasing after younger women,
I think she thinks this guy's a sure thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she wouldn't have to try very hard. So maybe, but then she knows that.
But I think he's something different than she expects. Pause.
Okay, keep going.
He's something different than she expects when she sees that outburst, and they have this really interesting conversation about things. And in a different movie, you could see her inviting him up, or because at this point she knows that her husband is having an affair.
Oh yeah.
And it would be.
I think she knew it at the beginning of the movie.
I think she did too, but that's why she says that line about the people that you love. You don't. It's good you're not marrying someone you love, because then you're not gonna
be happy,
be hurt.
Yeah.
And she's hurt, and then she realizes, if I did this, how much I would hurt my husband, even though he's hurt me. It's not fair, and even though I deserve more, I can't do it. That says so much about her character.
Yeah,
it's a really great scene.
Yeah.
John Mahoney,
yes.
That's who I'm thinking of. Really, really great actor.
So how do we score this movie?
I gave it a 60. Jerry gave it a 72. Liz scores 66. I had some issues with the actual filmmaking to some extent.
It's really grainy.
I can't believe that there isn't a better transfer of this movie out there. The film looks dated, not the movie itself. Like, a lot of movies have been remastered and things for DVD or Blu-ray or 4K or whatever. And I can't believe this one wasn't done.
Yeah, it's weird.
MGM put out a lot of DVDs back in the day, and I would have assumed that we would have a better film transfer of this movie. it looked really bad.
Yeah,
But
it did.
like the moon special effect looks a little goofy to me. It looks a little fake. It just doesn't look great. But other than that, I mean, the love story is great. Again, AFI, thumbs up. You put a love story on the love story list. Way to
That's
go.
great. At number 17. So
At number
that's
17.
good
I
news.
think it's probably a little higher on the list than where I would put it, but better love story than not love story. So
yeah.
Yeah, this is a really good one. I hadn't seen it in a while. I'm glad we watched it again.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen that in a really long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So that's number 17, Moonstruck. If you have any opinions about that, please leave a comment. If you would like to talk to us directly, please email us at ratingthelist@gmail.com. I think that's it. So I'm Jerry.
I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.